I don't think it's a maybe. It's like a definite, there is the rivalry there. We are the two best teams in North America. We already beat C9 with me playing the worst I've ever played.
CLG definitely seems better with Dardoch. Now, I wouldn't say that it's because of Dardoch.
My goal was to get on a team strong enough to get me in contention with TSM so that when I would classically destroy Svenskeren in the jungle, I would have teammates to back me up.
I feel pretty comfortable facing CLG. Dardoch can't do anything because all three of his lanes are going to be losing.
I've seen doublet montages are all over the place. I've watched a ton of TSM games. Trevor's better, for sure.
I feel like he's not nearly good enough to talk so much trash. I mean, he's just got a long way to go.
I know when I get on stage and I hear the chants back and forth after every play, it's gonna weigh on me.
CLG, just as an organization, is my rival. I want to beat them more than any other team.
Welcome back, fans in the studios and at home, to the North American League Championship Series. You're joining us here as we close out our second week of play, live from Los Angeles, California. Fans clad in the colors of the lights here of their favorite teams as Team Dignitas now getting out of their van. St. Vincent's himself, and unsurprisingly, actually, Team Dignitas having good Barons so far this week. Liquid also joining in as they're getting ready to go for their first match of the day. Cloud9 also making their entrance into the arena as they're going to be taking off some opponents, which you can see right here as Echo Fox are still having Griggs start out, who did have a pretty good series yesterday. We'll see if more can happen from him. It's going to be a fun one. Hello, everyone. My name is David Freak Turley, and joining me in the Analyst Dojo, Mark Dimmerman himself and the one and only Joshua Jat-Leesman. Desk, you say?
Yep, it's a desk.
Not a dojo.
Yep.
Double negative makes a positive. Saint plus Dignitas means good at Barons.
That's how it works.
Dick has actually been okay at Barons
That's
for
what
a
I'm saying,
while.
yeah.
It's just every time they throw a Baron,
It refreshes.
yeah, oh, it happens all the time.
I've had those sort of conversations before with the social media manager. It's great. Now, before we get into today's matches, let's pull up these standings to see where we are right now in the LCS. Last night, third place teams Immortals and Team Envy wrapped up their weekends with a win, respectively, while teams like Cloud9, TSM, and Phoenix One hope to do the same with our matches today. And it all begins on our first series on NALCS 1, where Echo Fox looks to nab a win over Cloud9.
What is that Kamehameha Keith is doing?
Dude, he's charged up. He's ready to go, man. He's getting more powerful.
In the gym, too. These are some of the finest poses we have seen yet.
All right, very long schedules here. Of course, CLG looking to take down TSM in a very storied rivalry later in the day. And if you're watching NALCS 2, your first series puts Team Dignitas versus Team Liquid in the battle theater, and then Phoenix One will be facing FlyQuest shortly after that series concludes.
Just by the number of fingers those guys are holding up, 1 and 2, you know who's going to win the series. Team Liquid favored, right?
The number of games they've won so far.
For Dignitas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number of games they've won so far in the split. Now, first up, we have to hit on our big ticket matchup for the day. It's Counter Logic Gaming taking on TSM. Panel, who is the edge?
You just saw the standings. CLG 3-0.
Great.
But honestly, CLG have actually been playing a lot better than TSM this split. Even though Dardoch said he played one of his worst games ever, and we're supposed to take that as a positive thing. It's not, but he had a better game yesterday. CLG still looks a little bit inconsistent. I like the team play. I like the fact that letting Aphmoo play whatever he wants, and it feels like more the CLG style from when they're winning. So I think that's why they're favored in this series.
CSM's definitely struggling. The addition of Double was supposed to be this great thing, but when you think about how they played in Spring Split, it was a lot of top focus for Hauntzer, and now that he's back and he's a big vocal voice who wants to play aggressive, it might be pulling on Sven and where he wants to go on the map, as well as the fact that it's negatively impacted Hanser as well, who no longer looks anything like his potential MVP candidate form that we saw at the end of the last split.
Exactly. They're not gelling yet. And whether it's because there are too many cooks in the kitchen, everyone is trying to carry, they don't actually feel like they've found that identity. They honestly didn't have that much of an identity at MSI, and they definitely didn't find it by adding Double F to the mix as of yet.
And we'll see if that changes up over time. Now, of course, you guys can hop online and join in our Twitter question of the day, which is, what are your favorite rivalries of the North American LCS and why? And this could be champions, teams, players, red buffs. I mean, honestly, all of it's fair game. Feel free to pick your favorite here on this one. Tweet at LO Esports, use the hashtag NALCS, and we will share our favorites on NALCS tonight, which is right after the main broadcast. Now, another big matchup here today is FlyQuest versus Phoenix 1. This was the 3rd place match. Now it's the 10th place match.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that these teams have fallen so early on in the split is a little bit perplexing, but there are kind of clear weaknesses we can see for both teams. I would say Phoenix 1 has actually been losing a bunch from the bottom lane, where they have the spring split MVP in Arrow and the support they picked from the bunch they had in the last split in Shady. Neither of those guys have been looking good, and then it looked like they picked Meteos, out of bed to play in the second game against C9, and they did much better than with the Nori. So those are 2 weak spots they have.
That's the sad part, is you take Meteos, who's not invested quite on the same level as anyone else on the rest of the team. FlyQuest, they have this issue going all the way back to last split, where they sometimes, when they're playing really aggressive and they're getting kills, the end game's in 20 minutes, and you think they look like one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
And then they look bad when they're going and dying in jungle invades all the time, losing games with inhibitors down. You think they look like one of the worst. So it's a little hard to judge them, because they could just be kind of on the lower end of their spectrum right now, and can easily, win 3 series in the next week and a half where they crush, and it looks great.
Yeah, and the weird thing with FlyQuest is they've never really ended games the standard way, and last split they were doing it with these aggressive Baron calls and these really arrogant plays, and we're like, man, this FlyQuest, it's awesome. They're so confident, High's amazing.
Aggressive shot calling.
And now it's not working, and they can't fall back on standard macros, so they're kind of searching for the way they're supposed to win games right now, which is tough.
And we'll hope that search can conclude soon enough, as FlyQuest hopes to improve over time. Now, we will continue to see as well how teams adjust from 7.11. Of course, the week started on that patch. We're now several days into that one. I want to see what you guys think was interesting about this so far. I
mean, we were hyping up Malzahar a little bit yesterday. We did see him picked in the Dignitas game, but it didn't really seem that impressive. It wasn't the focal point of the game. That came from Sunday's Fiora. And one of the things I was talking with Scar a little bit about is that its early laning phase is not as dominant and annoying as it used to be, where you would drop your Voidlings, E the minion wave, and you kind of have free wave clear. You have to actually hit your Q and your skills a little bit better. Late game, it does come online. The ultimate does a ton of base damage now, but it wasn't really a factor in the game that we did see it.
Yeah, Malzahar pretty much dead as a support. If we're going to see him, it's going to be mid lane. Zach is someone we're seeing, I think, a lot more than many people expected, and I think a lot of it is due to the fact when you see Zach get into the game, a lot of times people don't feel very practiced on it. You see some big mess ups. When a player does have mastery over the champion, you see how ridiculous it can actually be. So the later we get into Zachville and before he gets more heavily nerfed, the more we're going to see of him, or the more we're going to see him in the ban phase.
Yeah, that's what you mean is we're seeing him more as in he's being allowed to be picked up. Teams
because people are just not very good at it.
Yeah, sure. It's that situation where everyone bans it in scrims, you get on stage, and then they leave it up, and you're like, oh, I guess I picked
should play it now.
It's broken, right? And then you have no practice on the champion at all.
All right, absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens with this one. Let's send it down to our cast to get the games underway. LCS.
It's just
All right.
Thank you, Frank, and welcome everyone to the Battle Theater. I am Julian Page, two-time car, and taking up valuable space in my caster booth is Sam Kobe.
I had to pay for this.
We're preparing for our first match of the day with Team Dignitas taking on Team Liquid. Now, coming into this split, Team Dignitas made changes with a focus on improving communication, and so far, the results couldn't be better.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the substitute players. They brought in Big and Shrimp, both of which they talked about communication being one of the biggest things they wanted to improve, and utilize both the previous players as well as the subs interchangeably, and both of them have had success on the Rift. We've seen it in the macro for Team Dignitas, especially yesterday. There were some very dramatic Baron calls, able to get them out of fog of war very quickly, and the team overall just looks to be a little bit more cohesive and communicating very well now.
And if you contrast that to their opponents today, they're still showing a lot of weaknesses in performing as a unit.
Yeah, definitely have to say that it's kind of pointless calling out individual players at this point with Team Liquid, because they have so many different little issues that they're working towards, and a lot of them are team related as far as mid-game objectives, focusing in that area. So we're gonna have to see how they are able to bounce back, because there's a long time left here in the summer split, and they definitely don't want to be around the bottom again.
Before we jump into Champ Select, though, let's take a look at the starting lineup on the blue side to kick us off. It's Team Dignitas in the top Someday. Back in the jungle today is Shrimp, mid laner Keen, bot Lod, support Big, and Coach Cobb.
And on the red side, it's Team Liquid. Up top is Lorlo. In the jungle, Rainover. Mid Golden Glue, bottom Piglet. Support Matt and Coach David Lim on stage with them today.
We'll have to see how Luka can look in the second day of play this weekend. Certainly, again, the glimmers of hope have slowly been shining through. It's been a rather dark cloud over the squad. But I mean, Dig, you can see Cop there. Ever since he was added to the squad in spring, it just feels like in general things have gotten smoother. You know, we can meme as much as we like. We can reference the process, but the steady improvement has been evident this year.
Yeah, it's really funny too, especially if you know Cop and Saint really well as people. Like their coaching style is definitely not, you know, meticulous. It's definitely not constructed ahead of time. It's a lot more kind of fly by the seat of your pants. You know, play to what problems are arising as they arise. And it's really funny to see that they are matched up with, you know, the organization that's associated with the process and all this type of stuff. But you can't deny the success that they have had. This is a 3-0 team versus 0-3. So looking at the, you know, first couple weeks here of LCS, you would expect a very big advantage here for Team Dignitas. And especially with the way that they have been playing, definitely going to give them the edge.
Yep, odds are that Team Dignitas looking to extend to 4-0. We'll see if Liquid can put a stop to that as the inter-champion select for game number 1. LeBlanc and Zaya, actually the first bans there for Dig, and Zach and Elise Sin started off for Liquid. So kind of your standard red side jungle ban there, and Zach, and a good target versus Shrimp on the Liquid side.
Yeah, definitely agree there. The Zaya ban as well coming through for Piglet. I mean, we saw it pretty much every single game from them, the Zaya and Rakan combo. And they really do like the playmaking and the kill pressure you can get with it. Although Team Envy had a lot of success just drafting Caitlyn Karma into it, doing the classic shove wave and push down turrets early.
Well, there's Galio actually banned by Dig, which I do like. Golden Glue especially had one of the best Galio performances I've seen overall, but certainly from mid. Cannon, definitely a good takeaway from Someday. You do not want to give that man a 1v1 split push champion, and Elise is going to be the first pick there for Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, they ban away the Lee Sin from Shrimp, but then just picks up Elise anyway, who also extremely powerful early on. A very high ban rate nowadays because of the way that Elise can affect lanes early on. She can threaten dives for losing lanes. So now that you're seeing an Elise, from Team Liquid's perspective, you do not want to draft any lanes that are going to be punished super heavily. At least have, you know, decent wave clear so that you can't be the target of that dive and of that early snowball.
Yeah, and these are safe starting picks there for Liquid. Gragas and Karma actually are going to go away from playmaking potentially, and going to take Karma there for support. There's the Ashlock in though for Lod, so going to Eddie carry that we have seen a decent amount of, but has dropped off a little with the rise of, say, Varus, and then obviously Zaya being the obvious pick, as well as Caitlyn actually, sort of notably absent from the stage of the draft.
Oh.
There's Fiora for some. That was kind of my worry with the Cannon ban.
Team Dignitas do not care about flex picks or whatever. Yeah, Gragas, you know, can still be moved around, and you can switch up, you know, to Renekton or something like that. Don't care. Fiora for Someday is such high value for them. They really prioritize getting him through the early stages, and since they already have Elise, that takes off a lot of the early pressure, right? You know, Elise is one of the best ones at punishing Fiora's early game. So definitely like the pickup here actually for Team Dignitas, and we'll see how Team Liquid respond. They've already shown that it will indeed be that Gragas top, so he just has to deal with the tank top. Shouldn't be too big of an issue for Someday. Doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of sources of pressure. Yeah, Rengar, we did see Dardoch go off, but that definitely required a bit of early focus from the team as well to get him some early kills.
Yeah,
and 3 Infernal Drakes.
Random, maybe not so much. So, I mean, it has been banned against him quite a lot, so I don't mind the pickup here for Liquid, but pretty much every jungler Rainover would want to play is open, and he has selected Rengar in the first phase, so we'll see if that does pay dividends for Liquid, but they're banning supports now in phase 2 with Thresh and Zyra taken off the table. There's Ari and Syndra as Dig going to target mid lane there. So taking some of Golden Glue's kind of playmakers and aggressive mid laners away.
Yeah, some of the premier mid laners right now. Of the rest of them that are left up, Talia though is very high priority. I know Golden Glue, he was talking when he was in Korea and playing a lot of the Korean solo queue, one of his biggest takeaways was learning Talia over there and training with some of the top Koreans. So that's definitely something, an option for him. Orion is obviously the other mainstay as far as mid lane champions that are still available. They will wait till Team Dignitas reveal Keen, since Keen has had some nifty counter picks.
Certainly has.
Every once in a while.
See if he's got anything cooked up today. Looks like it might just be Oriana though. Yep, gonna keep it nice and simple. Take that one away. And I do like that Liquid have stolen the bottom lane that beat them yesterday in the 3-game series. Karma Caitlyn over to their side with their first pick out of phase 2, being that bot lane. And for Piglet, it's just a matter of what we round things off with now. For Dig, looks like we need a support. We'll take an easy one there. Lulu and Ash will actually be the bottom lane.
Yeah, so while Team Liquid yesterday were pushed in heavily and out CS by a Caitlyn Karma combo, it's a little bit more difficult to have that effect on the Ashe Lulu, but it's kind of the maximum range, maximum poke bottom lane for themselves. And as expected,
yeah, conventional logic,
Glue will be able to lock that in.
Dictates that Talia is kind of the pick here. It's very common into Oriana. It's one of the best mid laners available right now. Golden Glue, see if the training has paid off. He is going to take the meta champion into battle here versus Keen.
Yeah, I'm super excited because I like to talk to him a decent amount about some of the mechanics involved in it as well. And one of the biggest things for him was using that extra speed off your worked ground to dodge those first couple of trades early on, to not only be able to get your classic shove lead in the mid lane, but also if you can get that trade as far as the threaded volley and dodging out of the first command attack, definitely can help out with some mid lane pressure. We'll see though. My biggest question mark right now is Reignover's Rengar, because he had a tendency in the past to build it full tank at first, then he went semi-tank. We'll see if he's actually going to have all of the damage, just rely on Golden Glue and Piglet, or if Reignover gets in there and at least build some.
Like I said, I've been very impressed with Reignover's Olaf recently, and he tends to eat a lot of jungle bans. So Dignitas is sort of potentially taking a risk here by giving him free pick of the jungle, but we'll see if his Rengar can impact the map. On the Dig side, we've seen them play this style of comp, it feels like so many times, and as always, our highlight is going to start in the top lane there. At some point, people will start taking Fiora away from Sunday, but until they do, he'll be blind picking it.
Yep, he's going to be very happy with that one. Yeah, until it either gets taken away or gets nerfed or something. As far as Team Liquid's side, though, for their hope, looks like the strategy here is going to be strong bottom lane that will take care of themselves as far as pushing. So that would or should open up this Talia pick to roam with Rengar. And that's kind of what we want to see from Team Liquid. Multiple players working together, either Reignover plus Golden Glue roaming together, or Matt even buying himself some time to get out of lane and help out with that warding and roam as well.
Certainly a lot of opportunity for Liquid to make plays, but we'll see what happens here in this series. Dignitas and TL will take to the Rift for the final series of their weekend here in Week 2. Dignitas looking to remain undefeated after 2 weeks of play, and TL looking to do the opposite, trying to pick up their first match win after getting game win number 1 yesterday. And looks like Golden Glue going to roam down here with Matt and Piglet. Might be trying to do something a little sneaky.
Yeah, overloading a little bit on the bottom side. See if they can, maybe get a sneaky summoner if someone face checks in that side brush. Happens a lot more often than you might think in pro play. People giving up some momentum in the bottom lane. Not going to be the case this time around, though, and they'll swing up for a possible Raptor ward.
Looks like, again, just kind of sweeping vision on the area. Matt's going to check that brush with a Q, and looks like the Raptor ward is down, so we'll have some idea of what's happening. We can see Shrimp is currently on the left-hand side of the jungle. Might be challenging the Raptor side over on TL.
Yeah, I think that regardless if they get it in or not, for Reignover, my favorite Rengar clear is definitely the full red quadrant clear, and just backing super early after that. Ever since the nerfs to him, he feels a little bit too squishy for more of the offensive ones. It's still an option if you have a game plan to work around some winning lanes and go for an invade or something to not do a power one side clear for an early level 3 and then back. But I feel like it's just the most consistent. Plus, the other thing that you get if you do a full red quadrant clear is you protect against a possible Krug steal, which is super common as far as people starting on the opposite side, and Krug is usually the camp left over. We'll see if he decides to go back or continue to the other side.
Well, right now it does feel like actually both junglers are starting on the red side. Shrimp did start on the Raptors after moving down from the left side, and looks like Reignover is just doing that full side red clear that you described. So we'll see what Shrimp does, if he's going to mix things up at all. Golden Glue looking to harass some down. Does start to push the wave using that E. And we'll likely just push this through pretty quickly. whenever he feels like it. One of the nice things about Tillier is you have so much control about what happens in the early levels with all the minion waves. You can see Keen just going to guide this back, and Golden Glue gets a ward down as a result, which actually does open up Shrimp to get aggressive and try for an invade.
Yeah, it's not only that. Shrimp is already, passed into the river. I believe he probably repelled over to the dragon so that he bypassed any sort of the lane wards to go for this steal. And the reason that Shrimp is going for this invade on the blue quadrant is because someday early put that ward onto Krugs. So just like us, they thought that Rengar was probably going to do that red power clear, and they warded for it. So with that extra added information, it has allowed Shrimp to go in for some counter jungling. So good team communication, team warding here, and some of those themes that we were talking about earlier already showing up.
Yep, might have just walked straight down, but looks like Shrimp going to try for a gank now. Pickle could be in trouble. He's going to get ignited and slowed down by the Glitter Land. Shrimp, who's going to try and take it. Pickle is splashed already, and there's first blood.
Shrimp!
Get rooted. Shrimp takes too much damage, and Matt is going to take him down now. Reignover going to shield in and try and get a counter kill. There's the slow onto Big with the bowler, but Reignover needs to keep leaping. Goes to the brush, leaps forward, looks for Big. Actually, is the target as Matt gets the second kill also.
Oh, you can tell Matt was just baiting them to a little bit closer to that brush. He just wanted to get them close enough so Reignover could get the jump off, and they do. So even though Team Dignitas had a very good setup and they're able to capitalize on that first blood, little bit of misclicks there as far as the execution cost them a couple kills on the way back, and that kind of salvages Reignover's jungle as well, because his whole blue quadrant was just taken out by Shrimp due to the early warding, and then the first blood had gone over, but very big salvage play there for Team Liquid to turn it back around.
Now Matt with a huge roam, actually going to try and root down onto King. Does get it there. Shove isn't going to connect though. Actually gets it, but late. Doesn't quite put him through the earth.
Yeah, a little bit crooked there, but a lot of damage done, and that is going to give you some more control here for the mid lane. So let's take another look here, because Shrimp ends up at the end on this trap, which was really nicely put there by Piglet, and that allows Matt to get that counter kill and get the double buffs. Then he baits Lod and Big over to the brush for Reignover to come pick up these. Reignover obviously jumping into the brush again for another hop to secure that kill.
Well, doesn't manage to get a positive trade there for TL. 2-1 up now after all the early action. We'll see if these junglers do continue to stay aggressive or if they might just farm out the next few levels. Shrimp does still have a good amount of experience, actually up a level currently on Reignover, and is embedding on that side also.
Yeah, because he has all the timers for the small camps. Minute and 40 seconds for both of them, and now...
Oh, let's go! Dova gets a flash! Cocoon takes down Reignover and steals his jungle.
Reignover, I guess he was a little greedy there. I think he definitely saw him come over and wanted to finish off that Krug, but Shrimp still had his flash, so that is going to be an extra kill over to Shrimp.
Does feel greedy. I mean, pretty sure he threw a ward over and then flew over with the Bloodstone.
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of indicators where you're like, be more careful there.
Well, Shrimp actually going to stay up then in this jungle matchup. I missed out there for Reignover. Could cost him a lot more. See if Shrimp does keep up the pressure. Mid lane now after the pressure on King. Looks like he's gone back for a second Durant and some boots, but
yeah.
let's watch this again.
All right, so let's see. Early indicator number 1 is the ward. Still wants to finish it with his smite, obviously. Second indicator is at least herself flopping over. Definitely credit due to Shrimp there for flashing for the point-blank cocoon. But yeah, you have to say, after your flash is already down, because Reignover used it in the bottom lane to get his own kill, got to play a little bit more defensively, have more respect for Elise's early game.
Yeah, and the thing is, Elise definitely one of those champions that can get snowballing. We've seen both kind of strong AP and more tank builds, but I think a lot of that depends on how you're doing in the game. And with this sort of stuff, you have to think Shrimp's going to start building up that damage, and then once again, all the threats you put onto the enemy, onto the jungle, but also the lanes, is just going to kind of help Dignitas push themselves through the mid game.
Yeah, definitely true. Regardless, though, he gets right back up. And look at that. All 3 of the players we mentioned working in concert to get themselves some vision around this mid lane. Lorlo, though, the victim of an all-in from Someday.
Yeah, Someday with the ultimate. Lola does use here, but Someday's able to flash out of the way. Now flash from Lola, but one more vital required. Not quite there for Someday, but forcing a lot of pressure onto Lolo.
Yeah, Lorlo going to try and regenerate with his passive, casting spells, but Someday pressuring the wave in. And he's going to have to worry about jungle pressure here pretty soon. Going to back off very quickly as the control ward in Tribush makes things a bit scary. And you would guess that Reignover's around level 6, even though he's not quite there yet. Dignitas haven't had vision of him, and it's very possible that the level 6 Rengar 7 minutes into the game would come with the ultimate to gank you. So Someday makes a good call, backing out. He doesn't have his flash after he just used it to try and get a kill there, and doesn't want to give over any of the momentum that he has gained up there in the 1 versus 1.
Yeah, it's actually 10 CS up still, was 20, although Lola got all the last hits under turret after Someday's all in. Running we can now see has red buff and is now level 6, but actually backing for his next major item does have the hammer built up, so gonna get a lot more damage on his first potential ultimate.
Yeah, and as you could see there during that camera pan, a lot of vision for Team Liquid. If you count the wards on the map, it's actually 1 for Team Dignitas and a bunch for Team Liquid. That will take too long for me to count.
7 plus the speed triangle.
It's definitely their territory to work with here. I mean, Mountain Drake isn't the one where we see forcing a lot of pre-10-minute Drake fights. Inferno's really the only one that you get that kind of spicy gameplay from. But they definitely have the vision set up around bottom lane. 4 Golden Glue to be able to roam around with the Talia. And they can still go with that game plan of Talia plus Rengar roams. Both of them are post level 6.
Well, you can see Someday holding the way back from Lola. Shrimp was here to maybe look for a lane gank, but Someday's doing perfectly fine in this lane at the moment. Does have the Phage and the Ruby Crystal already moving into that first major item. Looks like he might be going Black Cleaver first, actually. Potentially wanting to abuse the wave for as long as possible. And Keen is getting chunked a little bit here. Golden Glue doing a nice job keeping pressure on, and does have a little CS lead for himself also.
All right, will they get seen on this invade? Doesn't matter. Does matter.
Very nice max range Cocoon, but Keen not quite in position to follow up with his own ultimate, and actually Golden Glue threatening on the bottom side. Dig knows this is happening, but here comes Golden Glue, walls in towards it. Big could be the target. Polymorph is nice. Arrow's good, but Matt is going to tank it. Rainover now pop the ultimate. It looks like they just have to pressure the turret. 2 ultis used and no kill.
Yeah, good polymorph there from Big. Team Liquid, thankfully for them, he had taken tower aggro early, so they didn't get one of those big disasters that we have seen happen in the bottom lane with big roams like that. But as you said, 2 of those big cooldowns down. Those were the 2 that we were counting on for the big roam and the big mid and jungle synergy. So a little bit of extra time now for Team Dignitas, where they can just have Fiora scale very nicely up in the top lane and farm it on out.
Again, Someday getting aggressive, finds just the edge of that front vital onto Lolo. And again, just continuing to abuse this lead for as long as possible. I mean, he's 20 CS up pretty much if you count the waves that Lolo should be picking up now as they move towards his turret. So, I mean, this is kind of the doomsday scenario it feels like for Fiora, where she's free farming and winning her lane, and it's already bad and it's only going to get worse.
And this is why we talked about them being very happy with that early pick. Fiora loves playing into sort of low damage tanks where she can sustain off of just hitting vitals and using that regeneration, plus threaten the kills as we've seen already. And not a lot of threat being posed in the top side of the map for Team Liquid. So it looks like a very easy route to the end game there for Someday's Fiora. And that is definitely a scary thing for Team Liquid.
And it feels like at some point Liquid have to make a choice. I mean, given how they've been playing, it feels like they want to snowball the bottom side instead and just let Lolo kind of hang out and do what he can, maybe TP to a fight if it happens. But we saw the first play didn't work with the 2 ultimates and Rainer over on Golden Glue. You can see them running back down towards that side again, attempting to pressure more. But something has to give at some point, or TL aren't really getting enough with the lead, and Dignitas definitely have a clear win condition.
Well, yeah, the thing that's going to give here is Dignitas play safe on the bottom side. They realize that we want all of our resources, committed to top side anyway. So they're the ones who actually go for the first objective trade here in Rift Herald and totally give up the bottom turret, as well as, having Big roam to the mid lane anyway. So now it will be Laud trying to just farm at the secondary turret, and Team Liquid should be able to go for the Mountain Drake as a trade for this Rift Herald. They're just being a little bit slow about it because they kind of want kills and they're looking for extra kills, but the bottom lane from Team Dignitas are playing safe.
Oh no! All right. Rift Herald stays in turret range, so no disaster there. It's actually Lod's getting dove. There's the arrow flash W there from Matt Big with a good little ulti. Lod's going to flash out of the way. Rainover was trying to look for the assassination, but they might even get 2 turrets. They don't want the Mountain Drake, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't really want it. As I said, they are looking for kills instead, but you're running out of time because Rift Herald and Shrimp have already done their work. They got the top turrets, and now Shrimp is heading bottom side.
All right, bottom turret is down. Polymorph onto Piglet. as Liquid collect the second turret of the game, but Someday still here with a bit of health left on the Herald. Oh, solo. Can't disable it during the charge, I guess, but
Pinned him.
Gave it a go. Not too much damage though. Her turret health does evaporate, and Lolo gonna take barely any damage on that next turret.
So Team Liquid make the call. They'd rather have the early gold than the Mountain Drake, you know, pushing in for that secondary turret. And even though they don't get the kill, they do get a temporary little buff here as far as some extra global gold to work with. Someday, though, not done on this top side. The entire top side of the map is Someday territory, and he'll take that red, thank you very much, as well.
Yep, Blast coins away, and now 2,200 gold to spend on whatever he desires. Big CS lead there as well. One of the highest CS numbers in the game so far, and we'll see just how these lane assignments swap up, if at all. Right now, it does feel like Dig are leaving their duo in that bottom side, but there is still a Drake up for grabs.
Teleports are ready for both top laners as well. So Vision being fought back here from Team Dignitas as they retake control of their bottom side of the map. And they don't want to cede over any more objectives here. So a little bit of a strong showing as Shrimp is shadowing the duo lane during their push up. Kind of necessary considering they don't have any turrets to fall back on.
Done a nice job setting up defensive vision in the jungle though. So we'll see if this siege does amount to anything. Lolo ults the wave, but got, yeah, one creep. Not the best. But we'll see if Dig have enough damage to take this turret. And TL looks like they're just trying to race anyway. Already have 3 members moving up. Rainover is lagging pretty far behind on this play, but Piglet and Matt with a nice big wave already getting nice damage down. But Dig will be ahead at least for this first turret.
And as much as you're talking about, oh yeah, and Team Liquid are trading a lot of these things for turrets, Team Liquid, they do want more territory to kind of work with. So Rengar and Talia have more room to get these pickoffs and collapse onto members of Team Dignitas. It's just a little bit scary for them that they're giving so much of the objectives and territory back over to Someday, who's being funneled a lot of the gold.
Looks like Big's actually going to join Someday here to make sure he stays safe. 3 members of Liquid already. They're actually going in. Golden Glue trying to wall them off as they're trying to siege another one. There's the Wild Growth though onto Someday to protect him from Rainover leaping in, but a good shove there from Golden Glue. Does get some poke damage down. Arrow is going to miss from Lod, and the turret stays alive.
So Someday actually had the opportunity to go back on the safe side of that wall, but wanted to stay in the front to get a little bit of extra minions and extra gold, and he ends up not going down in it, even though a couple of ultimates are used. Still scaling up there. Team Liquid still hold on to that basically 1,000 gold lead from the extra turret that they opted to trade rather than going for the mountain, and Team Dignitas ended up in the end, you know, claiming that Mountain Drake. So it's very, very even as far as the, you know, objectives that they've decided to give up.
Nice to see Liquid being proactive with their cooldowns though. Rainover and Golden Glue both joining that top side play and looking to make something happen. Rank 2 ultimates for both mid laners on either side, so much significantly higher impact on any play they can make. Looks like Golden Glue got a flash, but shouldn't get a flash after him. Golden Glue could get 1v1, does pop the heal, and now kiting back towards Matt. Matt there with the shields, they might go aggressive again, but TL don't want to overextend.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, Shrimp goes for that one, and he does get the heal out of Golden Glue, but Flash on Elise is actually a really potent offensive tool, and without getting the Flash from Golden Glue, not quite worth it, I think. Maybe that was an instance of he thought Big was also going to commit with him and bring the Ignite and a little bit of extra damage, which, you know, may have at least forced the Flash out of Golden Glue as well. Not quite on the same page this time around, so maybe a little bit too much compliments for the communication as far as being on the same page for this team.
Shrimp falls back. Gonna go ahead and start the blue buff up for Keen. Almost all done. Keen throws the ball over, managed to collect that for himself. As you can see, looks like TL actually putting Golden Glue top lane for now and moving Piglet back to that safer mid lane.
Yeah, having Talia on the opposite side there, your goal is to push the wave again and then try and roam. It's not really, oh yeah, we love Talia as a 1v1, you know, specialist, right? Split pusher. Just she tries to focus on those minions, but can't deal with multiple people, so gonna go for a play in the mid lane instead. They're walking over Vision to do it though, so that should give Team Dignitas time to react.
Nice collapse here, though, from TL in general. I like the spirit of the play, even though the vision coverage is nice. Golden Glue, though, still going to commit onto Lod and Big. He's got to get there first, but he got arrowed instantly. Now Polymorph happens. It's flash up, but Shrimp is here first to the play. Matt can't defend him, and Rainover can barely get over the wall. Now it gets torn down, but Rainover still looking for the play onto Big. Does get the crit down, but he does have enough damage. Flash out of the way. There was Someday also TP'd up for the play. Keen looks for the ulti. Does miss as Rainover flashes, but he still dies to Lod.
Yeah, that's the problem with walking over the vision. Team Dignitas are able to react pretty well. They immediately focus fire Golden Glue, who gets there a long time before Rainover, and if it's just Talia coming over into a 1v3, pretty much no chance there. Lot just nails him in the head with the arrow, and they take him down.
You already said not the best 1v1 champion. 1v2 is going to be an even tougher ask, and Dig will actually get quite a lot out of this play, taking a turret, using Sunday's TP to kind of force Liquid away and make sure they keep taking objectives as well.
Yeah, unfortunate for Team Liquid there. But Team Dignitas happy to take that gold kind of handed to them and get multiple turrets off it. You mentioned that the Infernal Drake is the next one coming up, and given what just occurred, that gives Team Dignitas, a lot more control here of the mid game and will allow them to really set up some extra vision to get this split push Fiora to start making some gains. She's level 11 with the 2.5 item spike, which is pretty much good enough to start with here for Someday. And it's gonna be interesting to see how Team Liquid try and deal with that pressure from this point on out, because they have to be more coordinated when going for big plays like that. They have to bring all their forces to try and pick off members of Team Dignitas, or else Fiora will just take her toll in the side lane.
Yeah, it feels like Sunday's kind of hit that first threshold, springboard built, and now he's ready to jump up and really take over the game. Drake up in a minute 45, Baron also in a minute 10, but pretty unlikely to see that contested this early into the game. Dignitas almost got mid outer turret as well. Piglet's currently gatekeeping it, but it's, I think, one auto from Keen, or maybe even Big away from going down. So Dignitas should feel like they have the 4-3 turret lead. They should be up about 1,000 gold once they do take that. So the game is still very close on a gold value, but Dig kind of arrested control back of the map and should be looking to make a play around this next major objective in the bottom side.
Yeah, and if you do look at where the gold actually is, it's actually quite evenly spread across Team Dignitas. It's not, all on Someday or anything. So it's not like, uh-oh.
Ooh, Someday looking to go all the way in for that play. Does get the turret. Rushes in with a bit of help from Whimsy there from Big. Haven't seen that one before, the Fiora Juggernaut, but I mean, Someday must feel so strong at this point, particularly with Lulu behind him.
Especially with the success that they had on Fiora yesterday. I mean, he's still got that kind of running through his veins. As of right now, Rainover goes aggressive on Shrimp, though.
Good repel, gets out from under the bowler, but now back in onto the team. Ulti from Keen. He's going to set it back up, and Rainover almost has the counter goal. Golden Glue is going to split them up with the wall as Lot is firing away, but gets shoved back by Talia. Does flash out, and Keen takes out Man. Managed to get a snipe with the ball as Rainover still leaving him for the last kill. We'll finally get Lot as Someday chasing down Piglet on the right-hand side, forcing the flash out as well. He's going to defend and body slam up the Fiora. Someday now nowhere good to go. Does blast Cone away, but could be in trouble as Big is running back. Now Piglet's actually the one caught out in a 1v3. Keen just keeps rolling forward, gets himself a second kill, and Golden Glue and Lolo are trying to pick up the scrap. So I don't think they've got anything left to try and take.
Ooh, the coordination here as far as the scramble and getting away means that there is a lot of power left on Team Dignitas to clean up the Infernal Drake. They're not going to go for it, though. Someday's a little bit low. Oh, they actually are going to do it without him. He'll be able to make it much quicker, so Golden Glue has an opening.
Nice things that Shrimp did live. Rainover actually now back off the respawn, I believe. So they're going to start and try and get their smite to the area ASAP. Shrimp does arrive. It has to be careful. Shove is going to miss from Golden Glue. Teleport in from Liquid's going to commit for it as Shrimp does smite the Drake, but he could be in trouble. Needs to repel away. Keen can't defend him forever as Shrimp finally flashes out Big. He's trying to get the shields up over the wall, and the repel is going to move him back down to the other side. Jukes them around. Keen defends with the ultimate, and Shrimp gets the Drake and escape.
Oh, that is good news for Team Dignitas. All right, Team Liquid, what can they do with the kind of pressure that they have as far as the health bars right now, though? They really don't want to let Team Dignitas get away with that one scot-free. So a little bit of Baron pressure, a lot of bit of Baron pressure as they actually started up. This is risky.
Swept out the area, but they are just going to straight start, and Hawkshot is going to spot them through. Does get fired by Lod. Yeah, no, I think Liquid are like, maybe not. Matt took
Yeah. See, that's one of those frustrating situations where they just kind of stole this Infernal Drake right out from under your nose, and you don't want to let them get away with it, but there just really aren't any options. You've already been outplayed, and you can't get anything back. Regardless, let's take another look at this play where Shrimp, due to the repel, yes, he is going to die for this, but he's right in the middle of three people, and Keen gets off a good shockwave due to the positioning. That was a really nice shove, by the way, by Golden Glue onto the trap. Nice little combo there with Piglet, and they eventually kill Lod, but it does cost Rainover his life. Meanwhile, Someday is able to kite those three people long enough that the split here from Team Liquid leaves Piglet by himself. Little Eddie carry, no cooldowns or mana left. And that is too bad, buddy.
Easy pickings there for Keen at the end. I misspoke though. Shrimp did die, but fight was long enough that he was able to respawn and run back to the train.
So you get back up. Huh, what happened here?
And you can see just how much damage Keen himself was able to contribute in the fight. And again, extended fight, really favoring Dig. Somebody doing the right thing, jumping on the carry of TL, and now they've started Baron.
Yeah, and this Baron should be taken. It's in complete fog of war, and Team Liquid are not going to get anything over here to check. So Dignitas coming with some buffed up minions pretty soon. And what do you want with a Fiora comp? Baron buff for split pushing. Perfect little fit there for them.
Yeah, if you guys thought Fiora was good, normally now with a Baron empowered minions at her side and 2 items officially completed for Sunday, things are going to look awfully tough for Liquid. They're going to have to weather 3 minutes of Baron empowered Storm. And usually you lose a lot of turrets on this sort of play. With a Mountain and an Infernal Dig, have a lot of map to try and take over and boost that gold lead from the 3,000 or so it is now to up to the 6,000-7,000 number.
All right, Team Liquid, we gotta look for some stalling here. Gotta look for Caitlyn trap usage to try and wall off at least one lane. And Talia wave clear as well as Caitlyn wave clear to delay. As you said, you're usually going to lose a decent amount of turrets. Hopefully for Team Liquid, they can get away with just giving up maybe one and delay the push long enough while giving up that one turret that Team Dignitas don't get more. But it's going to be very difficult for them, and they might end up giving away both of their outer turrets because even though Someday has no kills, huge amounts of farm and a lot of pressure here on Lorlo.
Yeah, actually 70 CS ahead of Lorlo right now. Gonna grab even more as he gets his first Baron up wave towards this tier 2 turret in the bot lane. Digger doing the right thing, have everyone else sitting in the mid lane, and sure, Top's pushing against them, but some days like, yeah, Lolo, you can't 1v1 me, even under this turret. Just gonna poke him there, make sure he grabs that Vital, and Lolo's like, yep, hands on head, I just can't do anything right now.
Yeah, the Caitlyn wall of traps does hold off one lane, but can only defend one lane that well with it, and Someday is able to take his toll. Now that that one's gone, gotta worry a little bit here for the mid lane even of Team Liquid. Traps are timing out, just put some new ones back down.
Keen though was actually threatening with a really nice flank. Does have a Luden's finish, so he does quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, Golden Glue's been scouted out as well. They're worried of the Talia cutting their team in half around the turrets.
So top wave's also maybe starting to cause some problems for Dig, so you can see the pings down there. Maybe Sunday's going to move over and apply pressure to that different lane, but with only a minute-ish of Baron buff left, Dig just try and get the maximum amount out of this next few waves.
Team Liquid doing pretty well stalling, but Someday's come to town again.
Good wall, but Someday
he's
able
on
to
the
get
grab.
over this. Does manage to repost that headshot. Moves his way over. Good knock up on the Keen. Actually knocks him through and away. Can't get him over the wall, but not enough to kill him. So Keen is going to be able to escape. Someday he's going to go back and catch the top wave, get a whole host of farm for himself, and TL going to try counter push mid lane instead. Yeah,
Still 45 seconds on the Baron buff, but as you said, with Fiora going back to get that big wave in topside, I think that Team Liquid have accomplished the goal that I set forward for them, which was to just give up one of those secondary turrets during the Baron buff. And you know, you can't do much about the Fiora turret, but they did defend mid well without giving up anyone. You can see Golden Glue was on the outside, you know, getting a little bit of chunk damage onto the back line. Piglet was clearing out the minions, so they survived for a little bit longer. Doesn't mean the game is going to get a lot easier for them, but step number one has been accomplished. And now they're just going to have to worry about Ash Arrows coming through to force these picks.
Yep, next advance is coming for Dignitas. 30 seconds till the Ocean Drake is spawning. Golden Glue face checks Someday, or is it the other way around? Does get decent damage down, but I think Someday suspecting he has a bit of help, and we can see Rainova poking just behind, so no overcommit there from Fiora. Doesn't want to get into an engage that he might lose if there's anyone else. And Dig again will just continue playing with their very powerful split pusher as long as they can.
All right, Team Liquid, are they going to be able to make the pick? They actually do have a lot of you know, tools to separate someone off from the squad, and if they can immediately kill one member of Team Dignitas, you know, and turn the ensuing fight into a 4 versus 5, then they kind of have a chance. If they're unable to really separate Team Dignitas, though, during the fight...
Oh, actually, good enough on Shrimp, but not even getting the Banshees out of that, actually. Arrow looking for Golden Glue. Actually finds him keen. Just needs to commit the ulti. Doesn't even need to actually. His Golden Glue flashes out of the way, but Someday just going to chase him down.
All right, well, that goes out of the window. No way to turn it into a 4 versus 5 in Team Liquid's favor now because Dignitas beat him to the punch. That Ash Arrow does find its mark on Golden Glue, even with both summoners blown. And that should mean easy pickup on that giant minion wave that was building on bottom, plus the Drake for Team Dignitas. And this game is about in untenable situation here for Team Liquid.
Yeah, very out of hand, to say the least. Dignitas just built a great advantage for themselves. Someday he's going to finally hit the recall. Looks like he was jungling briefly in TL's side, but the Drake goes over. Dignitas picked it up with no contest, and Someday goes back to what I assume one of his favorite things is taking minion waves and looking to flame Horizon Lolo. Should be there once he does catch a wave, although they're giving it to Lod. So Dignitas, the true team play, giving it over to their ADC when he needs it.
Need some more money on the Ash. Maybe this is his reward for landing that arrow on the Golden Glue. It's like, you deserve it. You got Golden Glue, both summoners. Congratulations, Lod. How does it feel?
Well,
so juicy.
Someday, of course, catches the next wave, so Lod not going to stick around for the next bit of farm in bottom lane. Going to regroup with his team, and Dignitas will look for their next play. 7,000 gold up for Dignitas is a strong lead at sub 30 minutes. And we'll see what the next setup is looking for. I imagine Baron is on the menu at some point soon. He's going to be up in about a minute.
It's actually interesting. I wonder if there are, more opportunities to reward people for just high accuracy and skill shots, whether it is actual gold that you're getting or some type of visual effect for super high accuracy players with big abilities like that.
Could be fun. You can kind of track.
I like the in-game rewards.
Yeah.
Dignitas is like, okay, good job. Couple minion waves for you.
All part of that process, Kobe. Is keen, busy wave clearing away. Dignitas just making sure they don't lose anything else, and TL don't have too much map to play with, especially with Someday threatening that bottom side of the map and Baron coming up soon. They're gonna have to answer the pressure.
If you're looking at it right now, then Ash looks like a pretty juicy target, considering Talia, Rengar, on the enemy team. But Lod does back off by the time that Team Liquid rotate over, so window closed. Not going to be able to pick off Lod today as he joins the rest of the team. And look at that. Fiora is already knocking at the door on the inhibitor turret.
Yep, starting to slap it. And Lolo's just not even interested at all in defending.
Knock, pastry.
Who's there?
Look at your screen! It's Someday, and your inhibitor is gone.
I mean, they're trying for a Baron play now, but this is actually only 4v4. Lola now going to finally TP in, but I think Dignitas is trying to defend this way. I mean, Sunday's got the inhib. He can TP enough if he wants to, and Baron's not even at 40% right now.
They're just delaying it here. 4,000 health left on it. They're still burning it down. Team Dignitas waiting for about 2,000 maybe to go for it.
Yeah, there's Someday moving in. Shrimp now jumps in, tries to assassinate Rainover, who's almost going to get at the smite. Is there Rainover? Oh, it goes down. Shrimp gets it. That kills the jungler. Actually, Someday getting credit for that kill, but they get everything off the play, and Someday charges in to assassinate the next one. Looks to Piglet. Piglet flashes over the wall. Shrimp there nails a massive cocoon to make sure that kill goes down. Lod, he's going to grab that one. Someday will grab the next one as Golden Glue falls, and now Matt chased down by Shrimp. Again, the accuracy is going to be there. What will be Shrimp toward it? Maybe a support, but Matt zips away with the shield, and Dignitas only 3 kills on a Baron.
Oh, man, that is hard to watch there. It's just Team Dignitas take absolutely everything from Team Liquid, and that is going to be the way that we end this game. What an opener to this series for Team Dignitas. Not missing a beat after yesterday's performance and their defeat of TSM. Looking like a strong performance here to try and go 2-0 on the week.
Well, a little bit more work to do, but 2 inhibs down. Baron buff for a number more minutes, and Dignitas has played this so perfectly.
I mean, yeah, there's you can say there's not a lot of options for Team Liquid, but they take a lot of damage while Baron is going on. Team Dignitas, really good timing as far as when they choose to call down the teleport and go inside to kill Rainover. They obviously are going to focus the jungler to take the smite off the table. Makes it so much easier for Shrimp to land it and take the Baron. But it's just a massacre now, and not too much hope left alive for Team Liquid.
Yeah, only one turret to really worry about now for Dignitas. Just going to move themselves over to the top lane. I imagine Someday will guide 2 different Baron-empowered super minion waves towards the base once that's all set up. And TL, they'll stay in this game, but they're going to need to make a chain of miraculous plays to get anywhere close back to parity.
Also, because Team Dignitas have had so much success with Fiora and with split pushing, they're also probably going to want to think about next game and strategies in picks and bans to kind of set themselves up for a bit of a better chance here, maybe. I mean, I did, in theory, kind of like, you know, oh, Talia plus Rengar, you know, trying to roam down there for the pickoffs early on in the game because Dig are going to want to stay spread out. But the first uses of those ultimates, as you mentioned, didn't net them a lot. And early on, the cooldowns on those ultimates are decently long. See if they can do something here, though.
Wall from Golden Blue rides in, cuts off Kane, ran over in there, but the Wild Growth's going to protect him. Shockwave only lands one, but it's Piglet who takes the brunt of the damage. Shrimp is going to come down, but Someday is looking for the assassination in the backline riposte off the root from Karma, dips back out towards the rest of his team. And TL just running back to the fountain, trying to protect their bot laner. But they're losing their base in the process, and Hib falls down, and Baron is still up for 45 seconds. Shrimp, he's going to dive in, looks for Golden Glue, but does not get it. It's just a massacre right now on the base.
Yep, purple minions coming into the Nexus turret.
Well, but turrets fall at almost the same time. TL, all 5 strong. Can they even defend their Nexus? Piglet evaporates under the power of Someday. He's on a rampage, and Dignitas, yet another win. One more game for Dignitas to remain undefeated after 2 weeks of play, and the manner in which they are doing it is most impressive. Sure, quality of opponent today is Dignitas going to come in feeling confident after such a strong win yesterday versus TSM, but you mentioned the macro play right at the top of the series, and it's just looking so clean.
Yeah, definitely a smooth victory here and a good opening for Team Dignitas on Sunday. But there's one more left to go, so going to have to go back to the drawing board. I mean, we've already seen them use multiple split pushers as well, even if you ban out Fiora. He also had a really good performance on Lucian there for Someday. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was like, Kennedy, like, no, Lucian. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was a good one, too. So there are more options if they still want to stick with the same strategy. It doesn't look like they need to switch it up. We can take a look back at this game for people who have just joined and go over some of the replays to see how Team Dignitas got to this point, because it was very steady for them, just objective after objective, and never really were behind in this game.
Yeah, we're actually going to have a look at our first replay here and just kind of see. I mean, Team Liquid were trying to use their resources, but Golden Glue went on this play too early.
Okay, so this was one of the attempts where we saw the Rengar and Talia ultimates used. There was, even previous to this, an earlier attempt where they used both ultimates down bottom. This one resulted in Golden Glue immediately getting killed, and then Rainover does get one back for them, but Team Dignitas have already had time to collapse because when they were setting up that play, Team Liquid walked over a bunch of wards, so Team Dignitas expected them to go for it, and they were able to set up the counterplay.
And you can kind of see how much setup Dig are able to do, because it felt like whenever TL were doing something, they were always behind, clearing vision, making sure the weights were set up. When Dig were doing stuff, it just felt like everything was falling into place. We'll take a look at this next replay now. 20 minutes in, Dignitas just winning the team fight and taking the Infernal Drake.
All right, so this is the one that was really neat because they caught out Shrimp, and Team Liquid are always looking for these picks, but even though Shrimp dies, he delayed and he got into position around 3 members to set up that big shockwave for Keen. Afterwards, Someday joins the fight and kind of draws the rest of Team Liquid away, so Dignitas are in the end able to take down Rainover as well. And then Team Liquid split up here in the jungle. They leave Piglet, he gets cornered, and just kind of sacrifice one of their members. That results in that Infernal Drake that you're talking about. That also aids in the snowballing here for Team Dignitas, and also helps out with a full damage building split pusher as far as the stat building goes.
And look, Someday didn't actually do that much damage in the game. Have the damage in front of me.
Didn't fight that many people.
Exactly. Just didn't need to, right? Fighting towers, fighting minions, getting kills down. We'll kind of see how it all coalesced. 30 minutes in, Dignitas getting a Baron, 3 kills. This was just wonderfully played.
Yeah, so this is Team Dignitas with a huge lead. Basically the end of the game already. And Someday, he's able to take down the inhibitor first, forcing this kind of play. And Team Dignitas, they slip into the back of the Baron. They put so much damage on Rainover that he has to early smite or else he's going to die anyway. So you can't really blame him for early smiting in that case because you're either going to die or you want to get your health back with your smite. So, it's more of a team issue at that point where they're so far behind in gold and don't really have any options. But yeah, the graph also tells a similar story.
That's about all the story you need, I think. Again, close for a little while and then just the incredible snowball into that mountainous gold lead there for Dignitas. And again, you can see the damage spread. Like, Golden Glue and Piglet were both dishing out damage because Team Liquid were trying to fight for all these objectives. But it just felt like every little thing from Dignitas felt like it was very intentional, very calculated. I even noted like big minion waves coming down the sidelines. Most teams just like instantly be, oh, panic, and we have to go deal with that. The timing for Someday to go like, this is when I have to catch this wave because it's going to take X amount of time to get to that turret, and making sure they use their maximum amount of time on the map to make the play on the other side. Like, those are the things that, to me, stand out with why Dig's macro looks so good right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like Team Liquid never had the pressure to really delay Team Dignitas, you know, from going to pick up those waves or force something on the opposite side when the wave is crashing in bottom. So yeah, definitely an all-around victory there for Team Dignitas. Again, another split push victory. They've done this very often, and we kind of expect more of it from them, so maybe we'll get more in game number 2.
We'll see if things change, but we're going to step away for a quick break. But when we come back, it's game 2 between Team Liquid and Team Dignitas.
Dude, he's like, you'll do okay, buddy, you'll do great. It's fine, you're against somebody. He's smashed you 47 times this year, but it's fine.
A minute and 40 seconds for both of them, and now...
Oh, let's go! Dova gets a flash! Cocoon takes that right over and steals his jungle.
Okay, no flash, no flash, no flash.
I'm coming up here.
Kill him back, kill him back, kill him back. Push. Help Keen. Come to me, Ben. Nice. I'm looking. Yeah.
랭가 노플.
I kill.
Now jumps in, tries to assassinate Rainover, who's almost going to get at the smite. Is there Rainover? Oh, goes down, Shrimp gets it! That kills the jungler. Actually, Someday getting credit for that kill, but they get everything off the play.